Hey guys, welcome back. This is workshop 3, and we're going to talk about Intelligent Octa Funnels. I actually like the name. My name is Matt the Crease. If you guys have not seen the first 2 workshops, welcome to Network Empire. And this is where we're going to more of the advanced technical foundations. And if you look at what we've done, we started off with the framework. That's what GALAXIS created. The case study showed us in workshop 1 the cause and effect of us deploying just a generic default GALAXIS board. Nothing was modified. It was exactly as it came out written. Now, is it perfect? No, it's 80% there. Obviously, you have to come and overlay your business, your brand, and the messaging for your clients for the product or service that you're selling. So always think about the machine world is the JSON and all the schema and stuff that sits underneath the hood, the meta, and then you think on the human world, it's the intent, the CRO, the conversion rate optimization. It's the messaging on the page that works with the copy. So what's cool about GALAXIS is it generates the first seed, first gen content, that's what we call it. That allows us to put a flag in the ground. And from there, we can actually, when we start deploying pages, we can actually start tracking and seeing how the SERPs respond. So once we got that all up and it's running and it's working, we're now looking at, okay, external backlinks. These are links that are coming from the outside. So we can talk about G sites, we can talk about the social media properties, and we have to think deeper into the funnels. What funnels are attracting attention? How are you going to generate the leads? And where are they going to go into the backend system? How are they going to get processed in the backend system? What I've found over the years is, we're in the process of revamping the whole backend system of Digital Marketers Toolbox, as the onboarding and all that kind of stuff, where it's going to be very lean and not so deep and hitting guys with so many emails. So you'll get onboarded 1, 2, 3 emails. What we're going to be doing with the guys is that they come on as annual subscribers. We'll jump on the first project with them, help them run it. And I've been finding that the guys are getting much more success, as well as the education. Everything seems to fall into place. So with this case study and these workshops, that's my final goal, right? So think about this. We've got our foundation down. That's the website, the pages, all the base content, meta title, CRO is done. We've optimized all the anchors, and that was all done in the WP website silo plugin that gave us all that framework. Now we're going to go through and think about the back end. And this is where we jump into what are the pain points. So the next level problem, my funnel is manual. So what happens to the leads when they get created? How are you clicking them? What are they given? So it's good to take the XML that you've generated out of DMT, and when you push that all live onto the site and the pages are there, it's good to stop and just have a good think and do an audit on what you want to broadcast when. And we created a Signal Stream, that's a RSS management plugin. In other videos, we've spoken about that. I'll do more about that in the members area. But this can be used with any RSS system, or if you want to distribute content through N8M or Make.com or any workflow type of tool. So another problem is when you start with your first seed generation, there's always going to be small little issues that we tend to miss, and technical issues. So what we're going to do in this session is start off with ways you can actually take the XML pre-build and see what needs to change, make the changes in DMT, and then export out those changes again. Or you can go to WordPress import, like we've shown you in workshop 1, and you can then export that website and then go to our LLM and ask it to actually go and audit it and tell you where all the issues are, as well as prioritize what is the main things you need to work on. So it's quite flexible what the XML comes out of DMT and how we can play around with it and do all kinds of advanced work. So just to recap on the Octopus funnel, on the Octa funnel, it's all about the structure. The SEO spine, the silo, is the technical foundation. The silo, the categories, and the posts are the same as search intent. So at the top of the funnel, 2 to 3 words, categories, middle of the funnel, 3 to 5 words, and then obviously posts are exact match long tails talking about a specific thing. So it could be product, brand name, specification. It could be even the keyword you target if it's a specific thing you want to sell. So the next thing we're going to look at is the layers. So the brain is any LLM. You can use Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever you call it. The nervous system is the automation tools. These are triggers that are fired when things happen on your site. So when you publish a page and a RSS feed triggers, you could trigger an event. You could upload a CSV that gets exported out of DMT, and you can use that as a trigger. So you can actually import all of these, and a schedule date could be the thing that makes the automation workflow go and do certain things, like take your posts, write a summarized version, and then push it to all the social platforms. It's limitless what you can do. Remember, through your broadcasting, you want to draw traffic. That's your goal. You want to pull people into your site. You want to attract traffic. The byproduct is a backlink of a high domain authority asset. So the backlinks linking in from your social platforms back to pages within your site push juice in. Okay. So as we go through these, just think of what that XML can do for you. So when we talk about pre-launch, you can take the XML blueprint out of DMT. You can upload it to ChatGTP. You can say, read through all the content and tell me which pages are duplicate. I'll make that up. You could export it out with all the silo, all the pages, all the relationships, and have it scanned. And you can say, okay, what are the highest priorities that I should focus on now, looking at trends? And this opens up all kinds of things when you take the DMT XML, because any LLM, any machine language, any code can read XML. It reads a node, it reads a value. It's a key and a value relationship. And we can take a single JSON, which we're going to play with now in DMT, and go to our LLM and say, take my seed article and fill in the gaps that were missed. I need 5,000 words for a category page. And then you can go to Claude or a Grok or ChatGTP, put that in, set the version of the LLM you want to use, press fire. And that will then go and explode that article to what you want. You can copy and paste it into DMT, or you can go to your website and paste it wherever you want it. It's very, very powerful when you work with the XML, and that's why we built Digital Marketers Toolbox to give us the availability to this advanced XML. So basically what you want to do is you generate your XML, you upload the file to your LLM, example ChatGTP 5 now, it's not 4. And you can use a prompt like, you're a project manager based on this XML blueprint, create and prioritize task lists for my team, identify the top silo pages, the lead magnet I need to create, and the most important bottom of the funnel content. You can even go deep and say, please give me examples of what we need for CTAs and blah, 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 blah. Depends what you want to do. But from that XML JSON that DMT gives you, which we're going to look at shortly, it is super easy. So let's have a look at how we can do this. So I'm going back to DMT. Let's just click refresh here. We'll come back and generate the blueprint shortly. I'm going to go to number 7, GALAXIS content. We ran DMT in workshop 2, and I went and did all the SEO over 340 pages. So we go look at our work job. It's run. It's done all the tasks. And we started 10:34, 28. So it's like 15, 20 minutes it took. But I went and did other stuff. I went and worked on my other projects. I'm not going to generate content, but just to show you how easy it is, it's a one-click action, part of the 10-click work week. I would just come in here and say, build article. That's it. I like to use that one. It's one of my favorites. We are always upgrading these to write better content, but this is what I used for the case study that we're working on, just a generic one for this test. Bang, put it out. It will take about an hour to write 1,000 pages, and the content blocks that are sitting over here will be over here. Once all the content blocks are in and I've got my articles, I just go bulk append. And it'll take my article that's in here and we'll bind it to all the pages in the blueprint, which will then appear over here. Once the article's in here, I can use the GALAXIS block builder to expand and add parts and different things in that I want. All I've got to do is put a prompt in here, and I can type what I want, and I can add content. I don't recommend adding the same call to action across every single page across your site. You're going to create duplicate content triggers, and your pages will start getting dropped in the rankings. We've done tests on this, and it does do that. So think about your funnel. Top of the funnel, information, silo. Middle of the funnel, categories. You tell the full story. Tower pages. Answer all the questions, and then steer them down to your products, which are your posts. Okay. All the posts or all the little tentacles that are out there to go and catch all the things that the octopus wants. So think of your silo as an octopus, and it's focusing on a specific prey, and it's cruising along the ground, and it's just picking up what it wants as it's expanding its arms out. And that's as the site goes, it gets ranked as we're pushing the posts out to our social media channels. All right, so let's go look at the schema. The schema is extremely important to the machine world, and that's why we put it into a cube. I'm going to click on this cube. We do know that we've got 340 pages that we have to do schema for. So what you do for a silo, and the reason why we split this into 3 parts is to give the guys control of the entire level. So on silos, you might want a specific thing. At the category level, you might want to add certain things. And at the post level, you want to basically tag them as articles. So what we'll do here, just to show you how fast this is, I'm going to click on web page. So silos and categories will always be a web page. And I'm going to say all pages. I'm going to say generate schema. So that's created all the silo schema. Yeah, we can see it. It's all over there. You can come in here and edit, remove, take out what you want. You can save it once you've edited it. And should you want more, you can go web page. And if it's a business page and you want listings, so now you've got about pages for specific companies, you can add that in there and then click generate. And it'll only add it to that specific page. Should you want to use related questions, you can include them in for your FAQs. And should you want to have entities and about and mentions to Wikipedia and to basically Google, you can check this and generate it. The reason why we don't do it by default is you must go and edit it and make sure it exists. You can't send schema redirects to pages that don't deliver exact things. So Wikipedia page that lands with categories that shows all the different options will fail from a schema point of view. If you're talking about a red widget, the URL must point to a red widget if it's on Wikipedia. So that's why you can go and edit it. So I'm going to quickly go and do the rest of the site. I'm going to click on the category cube. Because it's a page in WordPress, I'm going to click web page. I'm going to say all pages. I'm going to say generate schema. Then I'm going to drop to my post level. I'll click on the cube. And because it's a post, I'm going to make it an article. I'll say all pages. And I'll say generate schema. So now for every single page, if I'm working and I want to expand this, let's just say I want to expand the holistic, holistic healing practices, I can take this article, I can copy this, and I can go to ChatGTP. Let's just do that and I'll show you how powerful this is. I can copy this, and I'm going to come to this is a normal ChatGTP, nothing there, and say write a complete article, write a 5,000 word article. This is a category page, and it's the middle of the funnel. Ensure to cover all topics and answer all questions. So you can just go type whatever you want. Here's the schema. Here's the knowledge graph. So I just go like that. I can throw that in, and then I can go boom. It looks at the domain, and I'll go and write whatever that's all about. So while that's doing its job, let's just go with number 2. I'll say use option 2. Now, obviously, if you gave more instructions, you could be more specific. I was going to put B. So there we go. So I'm going to go back to DMT. And literally in a few minutes, I've written 340 pages worth of schema, and it's all interwoven with the breadcrumbs and everything we need. So in a case study, I used the default schema to do this. When I work on my project till I'm happy with everything before I pull it into WordPress, because in WordPress, I want to do as little as possible. So I personally spend most of my time in site structure adding pages and in GALAXIS, where I'm either working on the human world, where we're on page, dealing with on-page factors, or we're dealing with the machine world. So if I want to explode articles, I give the machine world the JSON. If you're working with workflow automation, you can take a single JSON and give it to it, or you can give it the entire blueprint, which contains the JSON. So because we created all this JSON now, I can come back and export When I generate the XML for the website, it will have that schema within it, which means for every single page that gets created by the Silo plugin, it's also going to assign that schema to that page. So you have a perfect companion and interlinking for every single page throughout the entire structure of the site. If I go to the content plan, I'm just going to close this one down. We'll generate a new one. Just going to left click on that, save it, and overwrite the old file. The CSV file can be used by workflow automation, and you can go through and create an automation that can either promote social media posts. You don't even have to use WordPress to be involved in this. You basically just open up that file. You can see the rows will explode big over here. Just going to click on this, drag this up so it's a bit smaller, and then I'm going to explode the rows. And here's our blueprint. So Control U, Control B. I can say when things get the release dates, schedules, and I can pass this in. It gives us the keyword retargeting, the slug. There's the meta title for all the pages. There's the meta descriptions for all the pages, all written for our first gen. There's the H1s. The primary article, I just left it out for time's sake, but obviously that'll be in there as well. There's for each row, we have the synonyms, the meronyms, the related questions. There's 3 to 5 questions per article. So each of those individual questions is going to get exploded into whatever you want. Each one can be an individual new blog post. I'm just saying, it can be posts that you talk about and you send it to social media with a little checklist and things to help people. There's the information keeper. What do people want to know about? Commercial, transactional, service, associated, nouns, adjectives. What's the intent of the article? What are the nodes of relevance? What are the edges? So the nodes and the edges are especially what the topic of the article should be about. You should have those things focused in on there. The summary of the article, and then obviously here's the schema. So inside each node, you can see there's the schema for every single one. So when you pull this file in, you take that page schema with, and you just give the workflow, here's the backbone. You may use these other topics and ensure that they're covered, and you can select other files in the schema. When the automation runs, it will go through each row, grab all these things, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can make your PPC ads. It's limitless what you can do. So if we go back to ChatGTP, here's an article, soft soothing wellness, store informative, boom, 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 holistic healing, and there's the whole article over there written. It's gone through the whole schema, built it out, and we've got our tower page. So I can copy this. I can come into DMT, and I go back to our articles, GALAXIS content. It was holistic healing. I can click on that, and I can just paste this article in over like that. I go save. There's a headline. I'm going to chop that all the way. I'm going to start with H2 over here. So there's my H1 as the headline. There's my H2. I'm going to go save. And then what I can do is say convert to HTML. I click on that. And there it's put in the H2. There's the article. All done. So go save again. Now that article that I've just saved there is saved in the export now as well. But there you go. There I just showed you how we use the JSON, just the JSON, with a very simple prompt, and we've built out our huge article. So we can even take this and expand on it and get rid of things that we want. But can you see how quick and easy it is in DMT with the way the platform works? So I go through and I build out the sites, we clean everything up, we edit it all, we then go export, and we push it back into the tools. So when we come to the advanced one, even the content that we're injecting in is built around the persona types that we target. So basically, what you got now is no more guesswork. You've got an AI-generated project plan. When you add the schema in and you ask the questions of what you want out, tools like Claude and Perplexity and those other LLMs can do all kinds of crazy things for you. You could have your whole spreadsheets mapped out with what things to focus on, what the call to actions are, what are done. So DMT very, very quickly gives you in like a few hours the backbone that you need, and it's super powerful. I love it. I absolutely love it. And the thing is, your team knows what's exactly going on. Everyone's looking at the same plan. Everyone gets access to the same XML if they have to deal with it. If they're developers, if they're the website guys doing the importing and building all the pages for technical, whether they're content guys, all the first generation content's all sucked in ready for them. They just got to go in and overlay the brand, which means you and your team are not wasting times, weeks trying to build this. You're there basically in hours. So when we say per project, we save over $18,000 worth of time and effort. What I've done in this workshop, in these three short sessions, all I've not done is the content, but I've done all the SEO, optimization, titles. How much time will that take you? Can you see how powerful this is? So the WordPress XML is another section you can use post-launch. You can take it, you can push it into any LLM, you can ask it what to do, and that'll go find issues in your site, and you can fix it. So the game changes very, 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 very quickly. So to work post-launch, if you're auditing a site, export your site's live XML. Step 2, you're going to upload it to the LLM you're working with. You're going to use the prompt in step 3. You're a senior SEO and CRO expert. Analyze the site XML and find all the technical issues. So let's just test this little one out here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to our article. I'll paste that in there. And let's just see what it gives us back. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just go and export a file. Go to DMT, export manager. I'll click the green button, generate XML, site builder. I right-click save, link as, desktop JSON. This is 2656. So I've just given it the XML file, and this is all for red light therapy. Now, obviously, there's no articles on this thing to analyze, but it can look at everything else. So I'm just doing this to save time, but you can see the power of this, and it's very, very, very efficient. Okay, so while that's doing this thing, we'll see what comes back. So from the output, you get an AI-generated audit report. You find out what it misses humans. It can group pages and orphan pages. It can look at your whole site. It can look at the content. It can look for duplicate content. It can analyze your titles, your URLs, your meta descriptions. It can do all the look for over optimization. Are they too long? Are they too short? Depends what you want it to do, but in a few commands, you can fine tune everything and even re-import the XML back in if you wanted to go down that route. So section 2 is the nervous system. And this is where we're talking about N8M or Make. This is where we're talking about workflows and automation. The biggest thing I'd say with workflows and automation is the more actions you take on these types of platforms, the more expensive it's going to cost you, because for every action there's an expense. As well as the more calls you make the LLM do backwards and forwards if you're using agentic agents and memory stacks, where there's a lot of tokens used backwards and forwards through your APIs, your credit's going to get smashed. So before you build workflows, create a knowledge base that has all the rules of what this thing must know. Don't let the AI have to go backwards and forwards and decide. Then what happens is when you do your command that the AI must do within the workflow, tell it the exact thing it must do. So it's a very small command. It must look at the knowledge base, understand what's going on, then process the task, And then once the task is finished, it must classify as the task complete, sign it off, and so it will loop through whatever it needs to do. When you build these nervous systems that connects to the LLMs, the brains, you can then use other apps like WordPress, Twitter, LinkedIn, email. Depending what you want to do with that workflow, you can basically build anything, and you can automate to broadcast your content. So do you go pay Hootsuite like $200 a month, or whatever their price is, $97 a month to do this? If you've got a small shop, no, you just set up a light init version. It'll cost you like $17, and you can map out all the workflows for your business. It's not very difficult. So the power of the GALAXIS build is very, very potent. Not only does it give you the backbone, which is the silos, the categories, and the hierarchy that search engines love for ranking, but it also organizes all the content in a nice structured way for your audience. So when they come in, all the stuff they once needed. When the LLMs pick up your content, they start using them as an authoritative source. Why? Because they can see the schema, they can see the content, and should you go and do press releases about your business, once your silos are live and you're happy with everything that's out there, you're going to start getting more internal signatures of votes, if you call it backlinks, pointing back to your site. The LLMs will pick up on it as well. Okay. So think about your silo structure as an octopus. And this octopus is very intelligent. And how do we use the brain? We use LLMs to do the brain. Based on a response or a trigger, we can have an action. So it's action response. Trigger, action, response. And as we go through that, we can create automated workflows that can work with our customers as we come into this whole thing. So over the last year, we've rebuilt GALAXIS, we've rebuilt DMT, well, not rebuilt, but built in more intelligence. And we're busy working on all the infrastructure around Network Empire now and refining everything using what we've done. And we've shown you guys live proof of what happens. So think about turning passive systems into active traffic generating ones. For every traffic that you bring back to your site that sticks, that's relevant, it's better signals for the rankings, it's better signals for everything. Your goal is to generate leads. When you go to workshop 2 and you start thinking about how you overlay your CTAs, your call to actions, into the content layer that you built for the on-page optimization to generate leads, you can then start incepting what they're thinking. Why? Because you understand the path they're on, silo, category, post, and you can either pull them off the market right there, or you can send to exactly what they're really interested in to see at the post level. So think about this, guys. And also, when you're doing this and you've got this design, it becomes much easier to trigger things. So you can use RSS. You add a new post that comes alive, it triggers an alert. This then tells the LLM node generate 5 unique social posts that will point back to this specific post or this branch. It then goes and it does all the posting. So can you see how we can take a trigger as something gets published and have it explode out and go to different places? And with the way the workflows work today in Init-M, you've got over 4,000 in a library that you can just tap into and copy and use. So it becomes very, very, very powerful. So just to recap on the full intelligence system, when we go through the SEO stackable system, like I've shown you, we use GALAXIS to build our backbone. We then came in as a company and we put in our brand and we optimized the funnels to pull traffic. So every silo can send people down a different route to sell a specific type of product. It doesn't matter if it's one product or many. Okay. But basically, you can strategize with the XML blueprint. You can put it in before you build and ask the blueprint. You can ask the LLM, all these things, these acronyms, choking my tongue, what they want to do. So yeah, we took this blueprint we just generated. Here's the audit. Let's see what it says. So there's technical SEO issues. Let's see what these schema and entity issues. So yeah, we go through the URL problems, apostrophes like broken links. So we'll check where this is. All right, so there's a little thing we have to check in DMT. So there's one of the roles. Okay, that's easy fix. I must just see what that came in here, but can you check out how powerful it is? So all I go to DMT is I find that keyword and I remove it and I'll fix that wherever that issue is. The second one is the orphan file. Sometimes you must also see if your LLM reads the whole file. So this means you could say, how many nodes did you evaluate? there should be 360 or whatever that site size is. But that's how we can use it in the beginning. With the funnels, my octopus, as I like to call it, we can then automate broadcast. We can have the audits run automatically. We can optimize things automatically. So from the XML, we can even have an audit, like a little workflow in NetM that's hosted that just takes our XML, reads it, and says, okay, here's the issues. Okay. So here's the big idea. You build your blueprint, you do the brain scan, you figure out your strategy, you start implementing it into the spine. That's the structure that GALAXIS builds for you. That's the framework. Once that's done and it's live and you really start publishing and you turn your publishing schedules on, it's better to schedule out instead of doing a dump like we did with 1,000 pages. That was just for the case study to see how the SERPs will respond. Because usually when that happens, there's a lot of de-indexing that goes on. Pages come in, they're similar, they get dumped. They got similar patterns, they get dumped, they get de-indexed. So they're in for a few days and then they're gone. So you'll see like 10,000 pages indexed and it's dropped. But now with page crawls and the amount of pages that are allowed as a budget, those type of things get put into a queue. And you can see in workshop when I go back and look at the results. So guys, if you want to spend $3.50 a day into your business, you want to invest into it and tap into all this power, if you're going to reclaw back $18,000 per project just in time, if you want to have a structured framework that you can take and make your own, that's been proven over, Network Empire has been around since 2011. And before Network Empire, I've been online since the early 2000s doing deep cloaking and building big networks. This is one of the fastest, stablest ways to get your framework done. And remember, you got full control. You can target any keyword you want. You can use any keyword list. So if you've got keyword lists and there's like 3 or 4 keywords you want to use as custom keywords, you can just add them in. We're going to be looking at more features for importing keywords for different sources for the guys. It's been a request. But at the end of the day, the reason why I built Digital Marketers Toolbox was to claw back my time, to give me a framework I can work with that is consistent across all markets. And then lastly, when I get into the game, I can assault. I can use my XML for G sites. I can use my XML to build out a WordPress website. I can build more sites that can become hub sites. I can buy a high domain authority site that's got high DA. I can just drop this whole blueprint on. I can bolt them on through the menu. It's limitless. So guys, if you want to dig in deeper into what GALAXIS does, I would recommend going to networkempireframework.com. When you land on networkempireframework.com, you can come to GALAXIS. You can click on Unlock Your Potential. You can read through the 10-click, build a site, and I'll show you exactly all the steps. It's all mapped out, step by step, 9 minutes. I go through each stage. I explain everything in detail. But in reality, you saw what we did in this workshop here. We went from just a concept, where we came into the market analysis. We read through everything about red lights, how we can use them, how they help people. I'm not going to go into this, but you can see my audience. Just by reading this, I know exactly what they want, who they want. I can talk to my team. There's my personas. It's bonus type, what they want, relationship type, everything's mapped out, how they behave. With all this knowledge, I can copy and paste this, or I can export out the entire VOMA. So if I go to export VOMA, I can choose what I want. So if I want the vertical, I can do that. If I want all the SEO, which is the online market analysis, I can grab it. If I want the branding details, I can go like that and say switch. And I'm going to say download the JSON. And when I download this JSON, I can go to the LLM, for example, over here, and I say speak to this, build this branding into the articles. Okay. So yeah, it says I validated 320 nodes. So it looked at the whole thing and it found those few little issues. So this is how powerful the XML is that comes out, and this is how we can even give the XML to automated workflows to go and do specific tasks. So depending on how you want to attack the market, you can sit for 1 day with DMT, you can map out 1 page, you can map out 1,000 pages. You can target 1 silo, you can target 10 silos. What I typically do with GALAXIS is when I come in and I go to DMT and I come to silo structure, this is where we map out the whole sitemap. I let GALAXIS build, and then I come in and do my custom builds over. So there's other silos I want to add in here that's not there. I can simply come in and click and add. I can choose custom keywords. I just type in what I want the slug to be. So if there's existing pages on my website that exist, I can quickly just add them in. It takes 10, 20 minutes. But the thing is, at the rate of speed, we've done a full market analysis that happens within the first 15 minutes. We then come and customize. I click that button and you saw in literally 10 minutes, it mapped out a 320 page website, all relevant. We then did all the SEO. That took another 15 minutes. We then went and generated all the schema for the entire site. It just didn't have articles. I could have a bot that goes to, say, Perplexity, if it's a very technical market, that will then take the blueprint and go append the article to each of those nodes. And poof, poof, poof. I can have it go write a deep, deep researched article on each thing. It depends what you want to build. So the guys, I'm going to end the call on this. For the promotion that we're running here, guys, grab the 727 smash. This is $727 you can take off today. That takes you down to $3.50 a day. It's the cheapest way into DMT. Otherwise, it's $127 if you go, or $177 if you go to the monthly price point. But you've seen how powerful this tool is in these 3 short workshops. This one's been a bit longer because I was just showing you how we can use all the technical stuff with the LLMs. It's limitless what we can do with the XML. You have to get used to working with JSON, XML, and schema, especially when you work in the agentic world, when you're starting with workflows. Everything works off that because why? It's defined, it's structured. It's easier to read than it is to write advanced prompts with lots of stuff. So guys, if you want to learn more about advanced prompt writing, come to Digital Marketers Toolbox. Sorry, I'm lying. Network Empire Framework. And just come down here into the Digital Marketing Playbook and just click on Atomic Content Engineering. This short process that I've written here for you guys shows you how we map out and how we think about prompt engineering. And this will help you when you're doing prompt designing for your automations, how to really do it well. It gives you a lot of details, goes into a lot of story, and this is baked into Digital Marketers Toolbox. I can come into DMT on any article. So I'll go to content. And I spend my life here in number 6 and number 7 and number 2. That's where I work every single day. Let's just say I'm working on the other article here, the holistic one. Once I put my API key in here and I save it, I can choose how I want things to come out. I just type a prompt over here. Should I want to have a default, I can remove my brand voice, or I can put in specific instructions. So for example, I can remove that and I can come in here and I can say, okay, cool. I'm working with a structured audience. So you see structured, structured, structured. All the way down, there's analytical. All the way down, relationship, spontaneous. If we're dealing with structured guys, what's the format we want? So task, action, goal. So if I use tag, it does that. Okay. So for red light, I'm thinking we're going to be dealing more with like, I want to actually just go look at quickly before I end this call. I'm going to go to market analysis. I'm going to come to my VOMA, the vertical line market tab. I'm going to come to my audience identification. And I can also see it on my brand summary at the start. So scroll down to the bottom of the brand summary. Our audience is biohackers, advanced wellness solutions, wellness enthusiasts, anti-aging consumers, athletes, chronic pains. So we can have 5 different sites or 5 promotions targeting 5 audiences on Instagram just built around this, leading into pages on our site. So we come to the bottom here, persona type biohacker, then it's the wellness guys. So the biohackers is who we're after. They're highly aware of emerging therapies. They're looking for science-driven stuff. So we can come here and we say messaging queue, and I can just copy that. That's who I'm talking to. So I'm just going to copy this and I go back to my article. So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to click on my page. I'm not going to machine world. I'm going to on page. And I can just say, okay, cool, there's my audience I'm targeting. I can edit my brand voice. And I think they're going to be analytical. So I'm going to come in here and delete this. And all I'm going to say is, let's go to the analytical guys. Yeah, let's go to this one. Situation, complication, question, answer. We want these guys to buy our saunas. So what's going to be the best mix? Score will be good. So I can click on that. And then I'm going to come in here, the instruction emulation. And at the end there, I'm just going to add a new line. And I paste that in. So the persona is a biohacker. And I'm going to remove that. And so the rationale, highly aware of emerging blah, 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 the messaging cues. And I'm going to go save. So that whole thing there will determine how, when I use the AI block builder, how it's going to come back. So we can speak to analytical, we can click on that. And what's cool about this as well, under the advanced section, where we run things, I can generate ads, PPC ads, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to pause this video for one section and I'm going to add my API key. And when I get back, I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to have some fun. And this will be the last part of the Intelligent Octa Funnels, is how we can come and add more things in that we need to best suit our audience. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, so I've added my API key. We'll probably update now to GTP5. I'm going to just get the guys to do that. But we're going to click on analytical, and I'm just going to add this little prompt in here. So the ACE, the accelerated, the atomic contextual prompt engineering framework is baked into the block builder. And all I'm going to say is review this article. So I'm talking about this article. And identify any missing elements required for biohacker analytical audiences in the radio and glow voice. Add blah, 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 define, dish, 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 dish. So there I say build. Okay, so there's going to go build. And you'll see over here it's starting to plan. GALAXIS is thinking. And it's going to spit out the answer over here. So we'll just wait for that to finish. And what's cool about this is you get these little blocks that you can build. You can say ask it for questions. You can give it questions. You can say add these questions to the article as a Q&A. Okay, so they basically built it out. There's the introduction, so we can go holistic, yoga recovery, acupuncture benefits. And they just smashed it all out. It gave us everything we needed. So we can copy this and think where it fits in. Okay. The next part that's advanced here is we can click on this. And you can see there's an ACE prompt that's been generated here that you can use. So here's the source facts of the article, summary of the article, the role. There's all the instructions. We can copy and paste that and use this in any LLM. It's all one click away. On the structured persona, I can show or hide. So on the analytical guys here, I'm just going to click on analytical. It's going to read this article and it's going to build this. So it's going to say, give me a persona variant. And you'll see it'll populate this. So if you scroll up, you can see GALAXIS doing its work. This is very powerful. If you just want plain results out, you can take out in the brand voice. You can edit and leave it default and give it nothing, or you can add specific instructions. All right. So we're running just with that one specific instruction, but here you can see there's another version. It's written for the analytical guy. There's the problem. There's the approach. There's the KPIs. There's a recommendation. There's the FAQs. So you can even take these and put them on social media. Okay. So if we go down now to the ad suggestions, I can open up analytical. I can click on this. And what this will do is it'll build me the ad stack for this page. So you'll have your PPC ads, your real storylines, YouTube video script type of thing. And it gives us those little sound bites that we need, which we can then copy and paste into our article. So there's the prompt I pasted in. That's how I built it. Okay, so there's maybe a prompt. And if I come back here, is it finished? So still busy building. Let's wait and see if it's done. So it's building up the recommendations. So this will populate shortly. It's analytical. So with a few clicks, I can build a 300-page website to a 1,000-page website within a day with all the stuff done, and with a few little tweaks, a few little shuffles. I'll just take you through the process again. All we do is when we export out of DMT, here's our process. We create our blueprint. We log into our blueprint. We read through all the tabs. We get familiar with the market. We understand exactly our audience is, what they want, how they want it. We look at the blueprint that GALAXIS creates for us immediately when we start. We delete what we don't want. We add what we do want. We also add high traffic keywords, so we can see the search volume and that stuff. We can blend them in. Once we've done that, we focus on the content. So we basically flushed all the articles after it was built. We then deleted all the old content blocks that would be in here. We then went and did the SEO. And when SEO was done, and we generated all our articles, and we appended all the articles, these are all one-click actions for the entire blueprint. We then went to the machine world, clicked on the schema, generated for all the pages, all the categories, all the posts. There was 340 schemas written in 10 minutes, all perfect. And all we have to do is just find that one keyword that's got that weird little apostrophe in it. So the way to do that is we can just go into DMT and we can look at that page. Go expand all. And go Control F and see where that slug is. Yeah, you can see how big the page is. The website's huge. This is all about red light, and we're going to have our red light offers and all that kind of things. And we can basically take these top competitors. We can say, look, here's one of our competitors. There's their site. They're giving 200 off. Here's another one. There's the pop-up. Here's another one. So we can see what these guys are doing, what they're calling up, what their offers are, how they page, their colors. I can take screenshots of all of these, and I can say, okay, cool, what's the look and feel for the website? What are our call to actions? It's all available. DMT gives it all to us. So guys, you can see how powerful this is. I just knocked out another site in DMT in this workshop. And so we come back here. There's a prompt. We ran the prompt. We're going to go to DMT. See if our article's written. Okay, so let's go up to the top there. It should be finished by now. So for the analytical people, I'm going to copy this all out so I can zoom into it. Just copy there. So there's my Facebook ads. Get the bottom. Control C. So here's my variant 1. Facebook ad variant 1. Unlock your body's natural healing potential. Post copy. Dish. So there's our ad. We throw it into Facebook. We just put our URL in. Send it back to that page. CTA, learn more. There's our variant 2. There's our Instagram Reels. So there's our hashtags. There's a second variant. Here's a TikTok story. It's written our ads, what we can do there. So you can go to any of the ad generation stuff for your videos, the things that can create reels, and you can just copy and paste all of these in as you make them. You can do four different types. You can do for structured, persona, spontaneous. You basically just click on what you want, and it'll create an ad set targeting each one. So for split testing, you can have that audience and that audience. And you can build your ads all around the target audience, which we know is the growth hacker. So guys, that's the end of the thing. I just wanted to show you how we basically generate great content in DMT. Within an hour, we can really achieve a lot. There we just mapped out a whole website. All I've got to do if one content is click on this and say build articles, which I will do now, and just finish this project. But that's how quick and easy it is with Digital Marketer's Toolbox to knock out semantic clusters. And what's the cause and effect of it all? I'll go back to the beginning where we started. You can either do all the stuff by yourself and try and map it out, or you can let GALAXIS help you build a semantic cluster for your business. You have complete control. You can integrate and embed any of the target keywords you want within this. We always let people choose. GALAXIS focuses on the audience and the intent, and then we prune and clean. We deploy. There's our beautiful site. There's the cause and the effect. There's the keyword distribution compared to all our competitors who are smashing them with more reach. And you can see there when we did the test last week, 1, 2, 3, 500 keywords, 1, 2, 3, 611. 4 to 10, 343. Now at 4 to 10, we got 331. 11 to 20, 256, 238. As I go through this site and I start doing the things I've told you guys today with the Octopus super funnel method, is when you start thinking as the site is not being a structured library of the static pages of standing, think as an octopus and dynamically embed and insert where your audience is going to be. Pay attention to analytics and see where the traffic flows, where's the impressions, because that's where the traffic is, the interest is, where they're clicking, and start refining those and lead those people to where you want them to be. That's the layer that sits on top of your copy that comes out of LLM, and this is what makes it different to what other guys are doing. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this workshop. I hope you saw that we can take a static site that's hardly doing anything and turn the site alive. 58, 53, literally from there to there, the rank is going to double. And as we improve these pages, expand them out and focusing on our audience and give them what they want and start pushing on the automations that can get built out. You can either just use any tool you use, or you can use workflow like N8M, make.com, any of those types. You can have any of these articles exploded and dripped out over time, over a trend time, over a season, and it's extremely powerful. Your team can all understand what's going on. And guys, take advantage of the promotion, Smash 77. Go do it yourself manually and build those pages manually and compete against us, or come and take advantage of Digital Marketer's Toolbox. Lock in a year, grab it for Smash 77, get it in at 350, less than 350 a day. That's not even one Starbucks, and have power underneath your hood. The thing is, you can work on the same blueprint over and over again. The same data set, I can come and target different keywords. So let's just say, to wrap this all up, I built my money site. I've gone and bought a few high domain authorities, sites, generic URLs, just got high DA. I come along in, they're closely realigned to the red light therapy market. I build one for the biohackers, I then build one for the athletes, I then build one in for the other, and I have 7 sites, all focused on one target audience. And each blueprint I generate, when I generate my content, the content's focused on them. These sites can all be lead generators for my business. They can all be subdomains where the primary domains on the www, and then I could have biohacker.domain.com and target those guys. So, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this thing. DMT has been upgraded every single week. There's changes coming every single week, and we're always updating and making the tool powerful and stronger, and the results are great. So I hope to see you guys in Insight. Grab Smash 727, save yourself $700. You can see it over there, $727 off. This is only available over this promotion period, and I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and I'll see you all on the Insight. So if you want a tool that can do bulk sites and build things out really fast, you've just seen the most powerful tool in the world. If you're looking for tools that can actually help your team compete competitively against agencies, you've seen what it is. I love this tool, and I'll see you guys on the Insider. Cheers. Matt signing out.